All right, everybody, welcome to the GXPC matchup. This is going to be a Game 3 matchup between Schism Esports and No F's Given. For all of you who have not kind of followed the series up to this point, Game 1 was a pretty solid victory for Schism. They ended pretty quickly. Game 2 was pretty close, which ended up having NFG closing out through the split push of Trindamere from Slithering Dingus, as well as the hard carry potential from Ariel on his patented Lucian here. So yeah, that brings us to game 3. So for this game, we do have Schism on the blue side, Maverick is in the top lane, Vestrin jungle, Stevenator in the mid lane, Carmony at the AD carry role, and Backpack playing support this game. For the side of NFG, we have Super Scyther in the top lane spot. Whether he goes top or not, we'll see. Zayfrey is in the jungle, Slithering Dingus in the mid lane, Arrow in the AD carry spot, and Babu Pengu in the support role here. So we already have been through pick bans. Let's see here. We'll just kind of wait for them to kind of go through their picks, and we can kind of talk about that after we go through. But what are you guys looking to see?
I mean, so honestly, here I'm just joining. I'm Hottie Williams, and I'm just joining as the color on this cast. So I've kind of missed the storyline here, but I have a feeling, and I'll just ask: has it been about the bot lane, or has it been about the solos?
Well, so game 1, it was kind of a little bit of everything. We had Laxon in the mid lane for Schism, and he popped off on Vigar. Carmony is always a consistent force, but in game 1, all the other lanes kind of stomped. Arrow was the only kind of shining spot for the side of NFG in game 1. Game 2, we kind of flipped things a little bit. Backpack decided to go mid, and Laxon decided to go at support. I'm not sure why, and they kind of just lost that game. It was a pretty close game.
Yeah.
But yeah, they ended up losing that one there. So far, what we see is Scion in the top lane. That's going to go against. It looks like Slithering Dingus is floating towards the top lane again with Darius.
Yeah.
And you have Super Scyther on Lux again versus the Cassiopeia.
Yeah. I think that's going to be really strong with the Darius buffs that just came through on the latest patch. Being able to shred the armor of the Scion should feel really nice. And then also he can always pull Scion out of his Q charge, which is again a really nice mechanic if done right. And then I think looking later on towards the game, towards team fights, having a Trundle being able to shred the tank stats of the Scion is always useful and beneficial.
Yeah, so to really hold Maverick down, I think those two picks definitely do so. So we'll pay attention to that kind of top lane. We'll see if Zayfrey decides to kind of camp the top lane and shred that Scion and see if Slithering Dingus can pull ahead of the Scion. I think a lot of pressure goes on the Darius, though, in the early game, because if he doesn't snowball and stomp that lane, Darius kind of gets in this point where he doesn't do much after a certain point, especially in competitive, because of all the coordination and stuff like that. That being said, we do see the Cassiopeia for Stevenator. Carmony is on the Lucian. Backpack is on Soraka. And then you have Tristana Braum is the bot lane for NoF Given.
And you pointed out to it as the Darius really being, if he can't get rolling, it's going to be trouble. And then you just kind of also look at it, the side of NFG is they don't really have much engage. It's basically an apprehend or a Lux bind hitting or a pillar like cutting someone off. And that's just not reliable engage. And so I think that's the really thing I'm looking at and saying, how do they get onto Lucian or Raka or Cassiopeia? Because in the same side, you look at the side of Schism and you're like, oh man, you have Gragas disengage / engage. You have Scion engage. You have Scion disengage. You have Cassiopeia engage. There's just a lot of opportunity back and forth to do a lot of different things. And it's just, where's the engage? And that's the thing that I'm questioning.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the engage goes, you have the Glacial Fissure from Braum, the Apprehend from Darius, the Binding from Lux. Pillar is kind of a soft engage. What really kind of concerns me with the side of Schism is it seems like they don't know what their comp wants to be. Like typically, you pick Lucian with a strong support and try to stomp the early game. I don't think Soraka provides that early kind of engaged support. That being said, I mean, Backpack shown time and time again he's extremely competent on Soraka and has they've kind of overcome that before. Cassiopeia, she does it well of kind of like kiting back and applying damage over time. So she wants to kind of go backwards in the fights where Lucian wants to go forward, Gragas wants to go forward, Sion wants to go forward. So it's kind of this mix of Schism doesn't really know what they want to do. But what she said from NFG kind of rings true as well. It's kind of, I mean, both of these comps just kind of seem all over the place in my opinion.
Yeah. I do like the fact that Schism has more CC. I feel like they've given themselves more tools to succeed. Because as you pointed out, unless Darius gets ahead, he's not really going to be contributing very much. And you don't really have very much long range engage besides Trundle and Darius running at someone's face or Braum kind of running up. And that's really easy to disengage from the side of Schism. You have a Gragas ult, you have a Sion ult. And like the nice thing is you can disengage it and then you can re-engage it, right? So like if the Gragas ult comes out, the Sion can follow up as engage, and then the Cassio can follow up after that. And I just don't know in what world they get to the backline of Soraka. Because the fact of the matter is, it's going to be really hard for them to cut through Cassiopeia and Lucian when you have a Raka on the backline constantly healing.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I will say in game two, Schism looked a bit disoriented when it came to team fights and kind of positioning. They were kind of all over the place, just kind of keeping people up to speed there. And what that allowed to do was allow the Arrow to kind of take over the game, pump out a lot of damage. And we've seen it before from NFG. If Arrow gets rolling, he has the capabilities of taking over games. We have now seen Super Scyther play Lux like the last 3 games he's played, and he's performed pretty well on that Lux. So we'll have to watch out for him in the mid lane too.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with the matchup, but I honestly feel like Cassio's gonna have the advantage in that matchup for pretty much the whole game. I like I said, I'm not entirely familiar with it, so correct me if I'm wrong there, but I feel like she should have the pressure.
Yeah. I mean, she can farm pretty well. Even if Lux pushes her under turret, she can farm under turret extraordinarily well because she has the auto attacks and the twin fangs, which is nice. So it'll be interesting to see for sure. I'm excited to see this game 3. We are going to hear from our sponsors here for shortly, and we will meet you guys back on the Rift for game 3 of Schism Esports and NFG.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa, and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
All right, everybody, welcome. We are on the Rift for Game 3. We are having a bit of a pause situation going on. It appears Babu Pangu has disconnected and hasn't connected to the game now. So we're just kind of hanging out, seeing how everything goes here, waiting for the teams to get ready, kind of waiting on an update.
Yeah, and not too much to talk about here right now. We've kind of discussed the team cons, what they're trying to look to do, and pretty much it's just talking about maybe what different players can bring and do as individuals to perform to really make this game their own or to accomplish. And when I look at that, when I look at individuals that really will take ownership of a game, I want to look at the junglers and say, what are they going to do? The one thing I kind of want to focus on is you got Beastrin on Gragas going Aftershock Gragas. This is not something you really see currently on most Gragas players. Most Gragas players right now in the pro scene in higher elo will go Predator. They like it for the gank assist. So Gragas is going to be much more tanky, but I almost feel like that plays into the hand of the Trundle jungle on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, the Aftershock kind of had its moment in the meta. I know like Tarzan was a big advocate of it, but then most of the teams in competitive, like you said, they started going for this Predator. It just kind of makes more sense because what that allows to happen is get that Gragas into lane faster in position and body slam and not have to rely on his flash as much. It just kind of seems better, but
It
I guess if
also
you're
it
looking
also
for like team fight scenarios, that's when that takes control.
Yeah, I also feel like though it allows Gragas to find picks a lot easier with his ulti because you get that a little bit of extra movement speed and you can close the gap and throw your ulti out and actually capture someone back into your team. It's a lot harder to hit when you don't have that movement speed.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see there. So another matchup I want to kind of lean towards too. We do have Stevenator back in the mid and Super Scyther in this mid lane here. And we kind of had a little bit of conversation around that there, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how Stevenator does on like a more carry oriented.
Yeah, I'll be
Laner.
honest. I'm worried for Super Scyther here. I think Cassio has a lot more outplay potential, and I think if she's gone she's gone the phase rush, and so if she strings together a couple spells, Super Thizer is gonna be chunked and he's gonna be pushed out of lane. And so with the Ghost, with the Flash, I expect Stevenator to have pressure on Super Scyther, and it could end up becoming the Stevenator show if they're not careful from the side of NFG.
Yeah. So, it's kind of cool because you have this volatile, like both bot laners. We've seen both Carmony and Arrow just like absolutely take over games. So it's kind of this nice battle in this bot lane here to see who can really get rolling more. We haven't really seen Carmony nor Arrow on these champions, though. It's kind of like they switched because we've seen Carmony play a lot of Tristana, and obviously we've seen Arrow have a lot of games on that Lucian. So it's gonna be fun to see them kind of switch roles.
Yeah, I have seen Arrow perform on Tristana before. He's really scary when he gets to that 3-item spike. I think that's really the break point that NFG can rely on. Is let's get Arrow fed and watch Arrow carry. That's been their game plan from the beginning, and it's still this game plan again in this game. Get Arrow to 3 items, and we win the game. Because you're gonna have Evolution, he's gonna fall off. The Cassio provides a lot of counter damage, but the fact is, once Tristana gets her items, she'll shred through that tank lineup, especially with Trundle shredding stats off the Gragas and the Scion. So I'm really looking forward to if they can safely pilot Arrow to that 3-item breakpoint.
Yeah, and I kind of like seeing Stevenator back in the game on a carry because that takes a lot of pressure off the Carmony show. I feel like the first 2 games, if Carmony doesn't like perform, they kind of just lose at that point. So here we go. We are loading into the game now. The pause has kind of taken after 10 minutes. We are finally into game 3. It looks like both teams are going to stack here. There might be a little bit of level 1 action.
I do like this out of the side. You have a Braum. You should look for something a little bit cheesy at level 1. I'm not entirely sure I like their path, or I like... They didn't drop any wards on their backside, so they don't have any way of knowing if there's a counter invade going.
Yeah, so I mean that path is typically good because if it's a typical 5-point, the way you path there, unless the AD carry is up further, he doesn't see that invade until pretty late, especially with Braum and Lux. But I think these guys might just run into each other in the river. They might just kind of do the big loop-de-loop and miss each other. So a little bit of dance going on in this level 1. Both teams opt to get some vision on the opposite's ward. Ooh, so they finally run into each other. Winter's Bite does miss there. We do see the Lux slow going through. Just a little bit of early poking from both sides. But what this is going to do is it's going to allow both teams to know where the other jungler is starting. So that knowledge, there's not really an advantage to either side on that level 1 play.
Yeah, I do think there is an advantage, though, in this fact that Arrow and they're able to get their leash off sooner. So you're going to see Trundle move around the map a lot faster. You're going to see the bot lane of Arrow and Penguin get to bot before the Raka and the Lucian. They might even... No, it looks like they get here just in time for the CS.
Yeah, so both sides kind of going back here. We'll see them start to farm up here and rock and roll. We do see Sion a little bit late to the party here, so he's going to miss at least a couple minions in this this top lane. And that's not really what you want to see. You don't want this Darius to have any sort of advantage at all. He's already level 2, and Sion just got to lane.
Yeah, speaking of which, I would like, if that's the lane they want to play around, I would like to see Trundle putting some attention towards that.
Yeah, it looks like he's opting for the bot side. Super Scyther going very low. One more auto will do it. First Blood going to Stevenator. We do see a bot lane gank. Backpack and Carmony are just kind of in a rock and a hard place, but they do a good job. They're going to be able to get out. And ultimately, we see kills traded in the mid lane. Both summoners down for both mid laners. And a lot of summoner spells in the bot lane, too. All 4 summoner spells out for our NFG. Backpack used his flash and the heal from Carmony. So a lot of action in a little bit of time right there.
Yeah, the level up coming through on the side of Schism really gave them the advantage in that they were both level 2 to the level 1 of Arrow and Penguin and just couldn't really perform against that. You see an invade occurring right now, though.
Yeah, and I think Bestrin just kind of bit off more he can chew unless he gets a nice... Oh, he does get the smite off and is able to get over the wall with the flash there. So kind of a risky path there by Bestrin, but he does escape with his life. And good heads-up play from Stevenator to kind of come over and figure out what's going on with that.
Yeah, definitely kind of want to go back, though, to what happened in mid lane, too, because I actually think that turned out really well for Super Slider. He was able to get a counter kill. I didn't think he was going to actually get that. And he ended up collecting a pretty good amount of CS because the lane actually, speaking of...
Here's another gank here. Slivering Dingus is forced to flash away. Body Slam doesn't come through from Bestrin. But I do think that definitely helps out from the side of Sion. Is going ahead. Here we see going aggressive is the bot lane of NFG. They're fighting in a huge wave, though. Super Scyther is here. But again, that the minions doing a lot of damage. Also in the top lane, flashes everywhere. No one ends up dying. There's just a lot of stuff going on right now. Oh no, Carmony with the Winter's Bite missing. He's going to be able to pick up the kill onto Pengu. That is a kill going over to the side of Schism. Summoner spells just blown all across the map. There's so much going on right now.
And if you're Schism, this is the game you want because your AD carry got ahead. Off of all that, all the combat, all the summoners blowing, Carmony got a kill. He's getting a CS advantage. They're actually, I think, they're freezing the lane currently into the tower. So they're going to be able to deny a ton of, it looks like they're pushing now, but they still were able to deny CS from Arrow, who needs those 3 items. You're going to have a big buy from Harmony right here. I expect to see him to go for the Bork build, and it should be really nice. It looks like he's staying for a little bit more CS, but he's going to have a pretty big advantage. And Arrow is forced to just buy a call, sit back, and he's having to wait for those items to come online.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what's going on with the mid lane buys here. So Super Scyther opted to buy the Dark Seal, whereas Cassiopeia is starting towards her tier. In my opinion, I feel like that's just that might be just a little greedy from Super Scyther, but I don't know. I just don't know if I agree with the Dark Seal buy without a Corrupting Potion. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have gosh, I forgot. He doesn't even have a refillable potion, so it really doesn't give him very much. I mean, maybe he's doing it, I guess, for the glory or for the ability power. Maybe he didn't really have, he had a really weird back timing. He died. It wasn't first blood, so he only had like 350 gold. So that might have been basically all he could buy. And he felt like that was better than the mana crystal.
I guess so. We'll see if it ends up paying off for him. We do see that Steven Air has finished his tier, so he is going to start stacking that here. Both bot lanes have opted to go for a call. We do see the Lucian has the Vampiric Scepter right now, so that the advantage is going to go towards the side of Schism in that bot lane for this moment. Also, I'd like to mention how Maverick is doing a great job of not allowing this Darius to get too far ahead early, but Darius is 6, so we're going to see what goes on in that top lane very soon.
Yeah. I do want to give credit to Beastrin, though, because of that. He came up early and forced the flash from Slithering Dingus and really denied him any ability to play aggressive in that top lane early on. Trundle wasn't able to get up there. He went bot. And so really they didn't give any way, as we see the Drake go over for the side uncontested to the side of Schism.
Yeah.
Just based off their bot lane advantage. But I really do question, if you're going to pick a Darius, why not try to put him ahead?
Yeah, I'm not sure here. Especially with the Trundle. That 2v2 matchup definitely leans in favor of Darius Trundle. But, they've played it pretty well so far. That being said, the Dragon control is something that's been really impressive from the side of Schism. You guys didn't get to see much of Game 2, but Schism, although taking the loss in that game, did have all 4 dragons in that game. We do see the bot lane going aggressive on the side of NFG. Carmony is going to get taken by the concussive blows, but he has a lot of damage. One more auto will take down Arrow. Is he going to have it? Here comes a teleport from Maverick, and the kill does go over to Carmony. This is kind of disastrous for the side of NFG. I don't know what happened there. Carmony just didn't auto attack. He probably could have pulled off those kills.
Yeah, I don't know what entirely happened. I think he lost vision there in the brush. They didn't have a ward in that brush. They were able to play with vision and make Carmony lose vision. I think, though, the bigger mistake comes through on the side of Zayfrey. They had the stun on Carmony. They had him locked down. They had the ignite on him to reduce any healing coming from Raka, and he's still committed to going after the Soraka. They ended up going 2 for 2, so it wasn't the worst in the world, but they basically let Carmony pick up kills. No kills went onto the Tristana, which is a big deal. So basically the advantage really comes to the side of Schism. You have the kills going on to a earlier scaling, someone who's going to get his item breakpoint sooner than Arrow. And they've had priority in bot this entire time, and they're going to continue to have it and be even stronger now. And they even came up with a summoner advantage, I believe, in the bot side, as Arrow had to burn his flash, but Carmony didn't even have his, and now it's back up. So I expect to see some real aggression come out from the side of Schism.
Yeah, and I honestly think NFG got lucky that didn't turn out a lot worse than it should. Honestly, it should have. A little bit of misplay could have been even more disastrous for that side. But I think we're starting to see a little bit of discomfort from the side of Arrow on this Tristana. He just doesn't look as comfortable on his normal champions. He usually just applies so much pressure. We do have another pause coming through. It looks like it was Schism this time.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily credit that so much to the champion as to... I mean, I credit that more to the champion than I do the player. This lane, like Raka is AIDS. She provides so much pressure and presence against an immobile someone that doesn't have hard engage like a Braum. And then you just kind of look at the way the lanes, and we have a dive occurring right now.
Yeah, Bastion, nice job with the body slam, knocks him out of the jump here, and they had turned their attention on to Pengu. They're trying to kind of decide when they want to go on him. They do switch the aggro over to Bestrin. He is going to take a lot of turret shots here. We saw the teleport coming through from Darius, shutdown gold, Winter's Bite picked up from Babu Pengu there. So a little bit of over-aggression from the side of Schism. Shutdown gold that does go over to the Braum.
Really, really well played from Bamboo Penguin right there. He really figured out how to get something back. But again, it's going on to the support. It's not going on to the carries. You even had Darius TP bot to make that play happen. And he doesn't get anything. There's no Dragon to get. There's no farm to get. He just has to path right back to topside. And they're securing vision, but like Dragon isn't even up yet. So it doesn't really grant them anything. And the bot lane of Schism has priority. So they're just going to shove back out bot lane, take vision control, as you see some nice poke come through from the side of Super Scyther here with his ultimate combo. But again, it doesn't really affect it, because hit those rejuve. Oh, you might
we do see Ignite coming through. Stevenator is going to go low. He might have enough damage to finish off Scyther, though. One more will do it, and that's a solo kill coming over from Stevenator. Kind of similarly to what we saw in the level 1 fight. Looks like Maverick is forced to use his Unstoppable Force to get out of that. Unstoppable Onslaught, I'm sorry. He's not playing Malphite this game. Here we see Zayfrey looking for Stevenator, but there's not really much to give. Stevenator is just able to walk away there. Maverick back up in this lane. He is going to go aggressive onto Dingus, but he has to remember he doesn't have his ult. So if Dingus lands a good apprehend, he might be in a bad spot. Oh,
yeah, but he does have Gragas right on his backside, so he feels pretty comfortable playing aggressive right there. Going back, though, to that bot lane dive, I did want to say Beastrin played that beautifully. He canceled the jump with his body slam of the Tristana, and then he also ulted the Tristana after she flashed back into the team. Or no, after she flashed, sorry, after she walked away. So it was really well played from him in that dive. And they were actually, honestly, unlucky to not get more out of that, I think.
Yeah, and we do see the bot lane of Schism is now ahead almost 50 CS at this point. So Carmony, that early game that he wanted, he's definitely there in my opinion. Let's see if he can apply that pressure and kind of close out this game.
Yeah, really good pressure, but also kind of going back to, I think, this mid lane matchup, we've discussed it before. We have a fight.
We do see the concussive blow landing. Glacial Fissure does not miss. Carmony able to kite that back there, so he is forced to flash away there, but Pengu going low. For the flash, I think that was worth it.
Yeah, but I think they've set up a dive here. I think they can look for a dive. I don't know why they're backing off this. I think they should look for it on bot side. They know Trundle is top. They saw him on Vision. I guess they're just content with the Dragon right now and continue to farm.
Yeah, they just decided to take this Drake. Looks like they're going to give away the Rift Herald. Kind of good idea from Zayfrey. They knew that was, that was there. Although Maverick, he might just check this here.
Well, they know he's on it. They saw Vision. There was a blue ward over next to Pixel, so they're coming over right now. They're going to try to contest.
Yeah, and Zayfrey doesn't have enough damage. Here's the Unstoppable Onslaught from the side of Schism. This is going to be bad here. Nice Miasma from Stevenator picks up the kill onto Zayfrey. They're turning their attention to Slibbering Dingus. Bestrin able to slow him, get the Chilling Smite down. Are they going to be able to finish him off? He is going to go down to... Backpack ends up picking that kill there. So they do give away the Herald, but they do pick up 2 kills and maybe top turret. We do see some more aggression in the bot lane. Arrow going quite low. Carmony doesn't have quite enough to finish him off, but Schism is going to get this tier 1 top, and that's going to be first tower gold over to Schism.
Yeah, really well played from the side. Schism. They didn't get the Rift Herald, but they did punish the tank. They got Zayfrey, they got the flash from Super Scyther, and then Slimmer Ningus came down to try to help his team and got punished for it. He lost his life, he lost his flash, and now he lost his tower. And as we talked about in Champ Select, they needed the Darius to get ahead. And at this point, you have item completed, boots completed. It looks like
Harmony, I think he just stayed too long. He didn't respect the dive potential from the side of NFG. However, now we have Maverick and Bestrin down here. The Glacial Fissure is going to slow up Bestrin. Now Trundle is here to kind of guide the bot lane of NFG out of this dangerous situation here. Yeah, I think that was just a little bit of disrespect from the side of Carmony. He didn't expect that much damage to come through from NFG.
Yeah, and again, I think that was, mistake by Carmony. He could have backed off, but it was also really good from the bot lane of NFG to find something and get something back. They needed to get something. They were losing elsewhere on the map, and they're like, let's make a play bot side, and they made it happen.
Yeah, I mean, the kill is definitely a good start here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really correlate to much else on the map for them. So they still, I think Schism still has a pretty solid command on this map presence. We do see a kind of fight over this blue buff. It is smited from Zayfrey. However, we have Backpack and Stevenator sitting on the outside of this fight, applying a lot of damage. The Petrifying Gaze comes through. Nice explosive cast from Bestrin. Stevenator picks up another kill. He turns his attention onto Pengu, going quite low. He is going aggressive under this turret. He's probably going to pay for it with his life. He is. That is a shutdown gold over for Arrow. And if you are NFG, that's exactly what you want to see right now.
Yeah, they were unlucky to not have the shutdown gold on Carmony go on to Arrow. Instead, it went on to Pengu. But they now have some shutdown gold onto Tristana. She's scaling. She's still a half an item behind the Lucian right now, which is pretty massive. But they are getting something back. They punished an overstay. But the question is it going to be enough? And at this point, I'm just not sure it is.
Yeah, I mean, that fight looked like it was going so well for Schism. I think Stevenator just got a little too greedy. He was foaming out the mouth for that kill. As we see Maverick going down to Super Scyther in the mid lane, he might be able to get a return kill. He is not, but the zombie Scion almost picking up that kill. Oh no, the Bengu was going to back onto a ward there, and he is most likely going to go down. I don't know, but we don't see a lot of damage coming through from Bestrin. That's that tank build as opposed to the AP there.
Yeah.
Didn't have enough damage.
If he had been AP, he definitely would have got the kill right there. But again, he's done a lot on the tank build. He's been really successful in putting pressure and ganks on the map and punishing.
Okay. I think that was a misclick from the side of Zayfrey.
Actually, I don't think it was. He put it in a position where it would guarantee to get its charge off on mid tower. I think they decided they saw 2 bot. They knew Lucian was around top. Let's get the charge off because we don't know if we're going to get a charge off again elsewhere.
I think he was just trying to ward over that wall, but maybe he was. Maybe that was calculated.
I mean, he
However,
had sweeper, so...
Alright, yeah, maybe it was expiring, but it does go down. Maverick is caught out by himself. Concussive blows is going to stun him up, but Backpack is here for the safety here. Are they going to go aggressive? It doesn't look like it. Interestingly enough, they sent Carmi alone in a side lane and just letting him kind of take solo experience and farm up. He doesn't have any problems laning against this Darius.
I honestly think that's a mistake. I think at this point with Carmony and how strong he is, and how strong your team is, front to back right now, Tristana is the one that needs the farm. Tristana is the one that needs to be under pressure. You guys should be CG towers at this point.
I mean, yeah, we could take a look at that, but you do see now Carmony's up a level on Tristana. Here comes the engage. Maverick, that's a ton of damage. Bestrin picks up the kill onto Arrow. He gets shut down gold. So that's 2 more kills on the side of Schism. Stevenator is 1v2 in the mid lane. They should be able to pick up this turret bot now as well and look to siege mid.
Yeah, Lucian did a really good job getting ahead in lane. He was up 50 CS in lane against Tristana. I just don't think that's an advantage you give up when you're trying to keep... Tristana's the one you're trying to keep down. I think you do what you did just there. They went bot side, they punished. It doesn't matter if they give top tower to Darius. Darius isn't coming back in this game. He's already too far behind. He's not going to provide the same value as the Scion. You see another Dragon going over from that bot side play. They take mid tower. This game is snowballing quickly in the favor of Schism, and it's going to take some really strong play from the side of Arrow to get his team back in this.
Right, and with Stevenator having the miasma, you're in this kind of weird moment now where Lucian's going to get strong real quick, and Cassiopeia is also pretty strong right now, and she's just going to come even further online here in the next few minutes of the game. So this is kind of a critical point for the side of NFG if they want to get back in this game and take the series.
Yeah, you see the vision control trying to clean up the vision control a little bit. But again, they're cleaning up vision control around a Dreg that's already been taken when Baron's up. And you have a Lucian, you have a Cassiopeia. They do Baron very, very quickly, and they take almost no damage doing it.
However, it looks like Stevenator is going to go quite low. Wow, that is a lot of damage from Arrow. He does pick up the kill on a Stevenator. And once again, you see that Schism isn't respecting the dive potential from the side of NFG, in my opinion. They are going to continue this fight here. Bestron isn't going to be able to get the explosive gas to engage. Scion wasn't quite there yet. Another thing I want to notice, though, is they kind of let Dingus just sit in a side wave, and he now has a 30 CS lead on the Scion now.
Again, I don't think that's so much of an issue. He's already behind. Like, if we look at the gold advantage overall, he's only up 300 gold on the Scion. And then you look at your Tristana being up over 1,500. I mean, sorry, the Lucian being up over 1,500 on the Lucian, and the Cassio being up almost 1k on the Lux. And then even kind of pointing back to that mid play right there where they made it on Cassio, that happened because they weren't grouped. That happened because there's no towers on the side of NFG to defend, so they don't need to defend towers. They can just group up and make a play, and they're letting Arrow pick up kills. That's not what you want to have happen. You don't want to let Arrow picking up kills. That's their way back in. Remember, Darius isn't their win condition here. It's not even Lux is their win condition. The win condition is Arrow on that Tristana hitting 3 items. And at this point, I feel like they've let him hit 2, so he's caught up in items to the Lucian. He's gonna, if he hits 3 items, he's outscaled Lucian at that point. So it's getting to a dangerous spot, I feel like, on the side of Schism. They're only up about 2k gold overall. That's a fine place to be, I think, if you're Tristan.
Yeah, if you're the side of Schism, I would really like to see some sort of semblance of a Baron setup, Baron play. I think they're strong enough to team fight right now. We do see kind of some aggressive positioning from the side of NFG over this bot lane. I'm not sure why they're in the bot jungle there. There's not really much of a... There's not really much to contest on the bot besides this tier 2 bot, and I don't think they really have the opportunity to take it from Schism.
Yeah, I don't know what they're looking for down here. It's even if you just get one more tower, it's not a big deal. I feel like here, I feel like if you're NFG.
Oh, there's Carmi doing a lot of damage. Forces the flash out, is going to pick up the kill on the Slithering Dingus, and that gives double buffs over to Carmony. So now they might be able to pick up that turret. A little bit of mispositioning. Arrow going aggressive onto Stevenator. A nice petrifying gaze, but he's going to be taken low. There goes the exhaust coming down. They turn their attention onto Maverick. He is getting beat up with the concussive blows. Does survive there. So ultimately there, Slithering Dingus goes down to Carmony, but Stevenator dies once again in the mid lane here. They do pick up that bot tier 2 turret, though, for Schism.
And that's good, but like you said before, I would like to see them stop playing around bot side and now put pressure towards Baron. Again, I do think Cassio does have good scaling, but I do think you're on a timer if you're on the side of Schism. I think Arrow will come online with Tristana if you're not careful.
Yeah, we'll see how that ends up going in here. So Schism, they are looking to kind of keep this pressure up on the bot side of the map. It's going to be interesting to see when they eventually want to do it. Oh no, Arrow might be caught out here. Nice job from Maverick to crush him and keep him out of that rocket jump. But it's not going to do too much here as the team's kind of reset here. But I'm just kind of waiting for Schism to kind of move up into the top side of the map around this Baron. Like, they have so much vision in this bot side jungle, but I mean, I guess Drake comes up in a minute.
Yeah, and they have a Blade of the Rune King Lucian, they have a Cassio, they do Baron incredibly quickly. And you know, it's extended into 25 minutes now, and they haven't put any pressure towards it. Though right now, Slytherin Dingus is kind of overextended. They might be able to catch him here if he's not careful.
Yeah, he is in safety and able to get his back off there before kind of spotted out from Carmony. So now we see the pressure moving into this top side of the map. Maverick is split pushing in the bot lane. They're going to have to respond to Maverick. Here is another pause from the side of NFG. ADC lag is what we have going on. So yeah, this is what we were kind of looking for. You have Maverick in the bot lane. Someone has to respond to that, or he can just push into this inhibitor turret. He has the teleport advantage, so this is where Schism needs to turn their attention to Baron.
Yeah, and Slytherin should be able to respond to that. He has TP. He should be passing bot. That should be his lane to control right now. He should be fine wave clearing against Maverick. That shouldn't be an issue for them. And honestly, I think it's to the advantage of NFG to not have Maverick over at Baron. I think he's a lot of the engage, and he's a lot of the front line for Carmody and for Stevenator.
Yeah, but he still has teleport, and he still has the unstoppable onslaught. So, and there's also 2 Cloud Drakes to the side of Schism. So if he wants to get to the fight, he'll get there pretty quickly. So, yeah. So we do see Dingus is pathing towards the top. There he goes. He decides to go down to this bot wave now. So that's what we need.
One thing I do want to talk about from the side of NFG, Bamboo Penguin, he went Unsealed Spellbook, but I honestly haven't seen him swap his summoners at all, or effectively.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think I've seen him have anything but... well, I did see him exhaust. He did exhaust Stevenator in one of the fights, and I think that might have been part of it, but that's really about it. We haven't seen anything else here as Schism looks to pick up their 4th Drake of the game. That is a 2nd Ocean Drake for them. So the RNG Dragon Gods are kind of on NFG's favor, although I think Cloud's pretty good, but 2 Oceans isn't the best Drake.
Yeah, I will take it though for where if they want to. Oh, we have.
That is very aggressive from Arrow. Is forced to flash out. Isn't able to pick up the kill onto Backpack there. Yeah, he saw Backpack and just went. Maverick is kind of on the wrong end of this one here. Is going to have the ultimate from Trundle getting those stacks from the Darius here. They're not able to take him out either. I just think there's just not enough going on right now for the side of NFG. They had a couple of opportunities to make things happen, but they weren't able to pick up any of the kills there.
Yeah, Arrow's flash coming out there, not really worth it at all, I think. They just forced Backpack's barrier. He was pretty close to killing her. I think if he had another item under his belt, he would have got the kill. Speaking of, he did pick up, finally, the Executioner's Culling to reduce that healing. So now he doesn't even really have to worry who he focuses. Whoever he's focusing is going to receive that reduced healing from the Raka.
Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely a big item pickup for the side of Arrow here. That puts the pressure on getting to Arrow for Schism and try to kind of keep him out of these fights, or he can just cause havoc.
And the other thing it does is it does delay his 3rd item spike overall. And you can kind of see right now, Carmony's just got that 3rd item. He's kind of at his strongest right now. He might be stronger again his 4 item spike, but this is about it. I feel like if you're SKZ, this is where you need to make something happen around Baron. You know, maybe a siege, maybe a dive. I think you have a lot of potential. I think you could even honestly look to 2-man the Baron. You have a Gragas who is tanky. He's got armor. He's got health, and you have a Casio. You also have a Raka ult. You do a lot of different creative things to try and sneak a Baron.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the timer for NFG becomes a real thing to worry about now if you're Schism. This Tristana, like you said, is going to come online here pretty soon, and it's going to be interesting to see if Schism's going to be able to handle that once he does. They are turning their attention to this mid-tier 2 here. It's going to go quite low. I think they do pick it up with this push, and yeah, it does end up going down. That does swell the Schism lead to almost 5k here, just under 5k. So they're in a good spot, but I think they really need to pick up the tempo of this game.
Yeah, and honestly though, I think at the same time, it's not NFG does not feel bad about this. They like the position they're in. You know, it's not ideal, but they're not like, oh, there's no way for us to come back and win this game. They have a Tristana who's scaling. She started off the game basically 0-3, and now she's got 3 kills. She's getting back into it. Even though the Darius doesn't have any kills or any assists, he honestly has some decent amount of pressure. As we saw him shoving in the wave all the way to tower on Maverick. And I'm not entirely familiar with the matchup, but I believe that he can continue that scaling against the Scion.
We do see the unstoppable onslaught is canceled, so Maverick is in a tough spot, but they're going to send 2 people onto Maverick. Schism's just going to turn their attention to this Baron here, and Maverick's just going to try to stall as much time as possible. However, we do see Slithering Dingus is going to be able to teleport here, so it is going to be a 4v4 if he opts to take that teleport. And here comes the Baron fight. Oh no, Arrow a little bit too far. He's going to go down. Shutdown go on to Arrow. Nice Soraka ultimate. Zayfray's the next target. Stevenator is going to take him down, and that is a big play for Schism. They can turn their attention to this mid, and there's not a lot they can do.
But the side on FG, they did steal the Baron. That was a great play from Zayfray, securing Baron and keeping it off of Schism. The mistake afterwards was Arrow getting caught. I don't think he needed to go in. I think he could have played back and just said, hey, Zayfray, I'm going to trust you to steal this Baron. With the Baron creep and with the Lux clear, I don't think they're going to lose any base towers here. So I think this is actually a win. I think you take this. Baron's off the map. It's down for 5 minutes. At 35 minutes, your Tristana is going to be even stronger. Your team's going to be even stronger. And if all you lose for it is 1 tower, which they should give this tower, they shouldn't be fighting here. This is a mistake.
Yeah, this is what Schism looks to do here. They turn on the Slithering Dingus. That's another kill onto Carmony. He's on a killing spree. They do end up taking that turret here. So, yeah, Schism now definitely has more of an advantage. The only members that have the Baron are Super Scyther and Pengu right now. And that's a big wave for the side of Schism. They turn their attention to this inhibitor turret top.
But look at that Lux insta wave clear come out. She 1Q popped that entire wave.
Yep, that's Lux for you. The ultimate, the Q. She is a wave clearing machine. All right, we do see another Drake. That is another Ocean Drake. So that does give another objective on the map. I would be surprised if Schism doesn't take that there. Elder is going to be... I think that's a win condition now for Schism if they have 5 Drakes.
Yeah, that's pretty big if they get the 5th Drake here. And honestly, while 2 Oceans aren't the greatest, I think 3 Oceans is severely underrated.
Zayfray is able to smite away the crab there, so they are going to have vision on that. However, Zayfray is in a precarious spot. Good job for Maverick, able to kind of push them away from that that Drake, and that is 5 Drakes in total over the side of Schism. 3 Ocean, 2 Cloud.
So the big thing I want to talk about though right now is Arrow is on his 3rd item. He's got his IE, he's got his rapid fire cannon, and he's got his Storm Razor. So at this point he does tons of damage.
Yeah, and we do see a fight going on here. No one has died yet, but Harmony is untouched. Here comes the Telebird. Oh no, a great pillar from Zayfrey, and that's going to be shutdown gold for the Lux. Here comes Maverick. The unstoppable onslaught goes down. They still have to deal with Stevenator, though. He is on the outside of this fight, doing a bunch of damage. Nice apprehend from Dingus. But we do see the heals from Backpack are just super strong. Arrow goes on to Backpack, but he's out there by himself. Does end up picking the shutdown gold onto Backpack. Slivering Dingus stays alive. The Cassiopeia is now chasing. Is he going to be able to catch up to Arrow? I don't think he is. They're going to turn their attention onto the mid lane now. Bestrin does want to chase Arrow, though. So we just see people all across the board here. He throws the barrel here. Arrow, ooh, he's not going to be able to get out of that. Nice body slam from Bestrin. Is he? Oh, Bestrin just hits him with the smite and walks away.
Just comes down. I question that trade for Arrow, especially he should have just let himself die. Like right then, he should have just accepted his fate and said, "I'm trading myself for Raka," because now he's stalled his presence on the map. He's not going to be up for 40 seconds.
So here we have another pause. So here we are.
Yeah. So again, kind of going back to this. It's not the biggest deal because in the end, there's no waves really that Schism can take advantage of. They don't have a wave that's pushing to the top lane. Their mid wave is pushed, and bot lane is also not really in a position, though it is building and pushing into NFG. Again, I think things are looking more and more stressful. Like if I'm on the side of Schism, I'm starting to feel the pressure. We had an advantage. We didn't secure the Baron when we had an advantage. We didn't secure an inhib when we had the advantage. And so the pressure is really going to come down to these next two major objectives, the next Baron and the Elder. Can you secure those? And then can you finish the game off them? Because if you don't finish the game off of it, it's going to go for Arrow. Arrow's going to be able to kill this game. You saw how much damage he did. The Super Scyther Arrow combo, they almost picked up Cassiopeia. If it hadn't been for a great ult from Stevenator, they would have been an ace there, or at least 3 of them dead, and they would have been pushed down mid and taken an inhib.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, we still have a 5k gold lead for the side of Schism, and they're at 5 Drakes. So as the game is getting a little bit closer, I don't think it's time to hit the panic button quite yet. But yeah, I agree, though. These two objectives, these global objectives, are going to be huge for either team. I think the Elder Drake is a win condition for Schism. If they get that, 5 Drakes, no matter what they are, is just going to be very hard to deal with. But I do also think if NFG is able to pick up this Baron, that puts them right back into this game.
Yeah, for sure. And then the question is going to be how much they can get done with Baron.
Yes, exactly. You do still have quite a bit of wave clear from Lucian and Cassiopeia, but same goes for the side of NFG. Lux's wave clear is just a lot to handle.
Yeah, and the advantage too of also having the Trundle means that they haven't had to build any shred yet. They just trust that Trundle will ult one of the front tanks and they can shred through that tank. So he's just going straight into damage, which really makes it useful because if they can catch the Cassio or the Lucian, the team fight from Schism kind of just falls apart really quickly.
Yeah, and we are still seeing the kind of figuring out what's going on with the pauses. It looks like NFG unpaused to kind of take the timer off of them and put it onto Schism because we are reaching that 15-minute pause time. But it looks like the teams are starting to ready up here, and we can get back into this game very soon, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that NFG was back, but Schism wasn't ready, and now I believe it's the vice versa.
The other way around. Yeah, because Schism readied up here. Okay. Hopefully someone's keeping track of the pause timers, because there's been a lot of them.
I believe there's about I believe there's about 3 minutes left on the half of NFG, and then there's about 10 minutes on the side, 12 minutes on the side of.
All right, here we go. We're getting back into the action. Let's go. Game 3. let's get this going. Okay, so let's kind of just take a moment to kind of observe what we have going on. There are 6 turrets down for Schism's taking 6 turrets. They have 5 Drakes. They're up about 5k at this point. However, we do see the Tristana starting to come online. So I think this game looks a lot closer, or it is a lot closer than it looks at this point.
Yeah, and also speaking of closer, the Lux just completed her death cap. She was sitting on 2 needlessly large rods. That's now completed. If she combos the Raka, the Lucian, the the Casio, if I can find my words, either one of those dies with her combo. They don't have any defensive stats, really.
Yeah. So we are going to see a lot of damage from the side of Super Scyther. If he's able to hit his rotation, he might just blow up really any member of Schism, maybe with the exception of Scion Gragas. But the important carries, they have to be careful in these team fights from now on not to get hit by that binding.
Yeah, and speaking of too, on the same side, on the SKZ side, Stevenator just picked up his penetration. He is going to do tons of damage now to these tanks, especially to the Trundle if he doesn't have his ult on one of the opposing tanks, the Gragas or the Scion.
And something to keep in mind, the Leandri's Torment just got buffed on this patch, so it's going to do even more damage. We do see a little bit of aggression. There's Carmony, gets hit by that binding, but is able to walk away with the Quicksilver Sash here. So now he has to be careful. As long as that Quicksilver Sash is down, he's definitely vulnerable. Here comes the fight, and there's the Tristana damage, just able to melt the Gragas at this point. So good job from the side of our NFG to get that pick onto Bestrin. That's going to absorb some of this pressure, keep that off the map there. But Schism is still looking to keep this push going. Maverick has joined the fray. He is going to be able to be a big front line. But there we see once again Lux just clearing out this wave. I don't know if this is a good idea to keep this siege going. But as you said earlier, there's not really a way for NFG to engage this fight.
And that's really what they want to engage. You can see it in their positioning. They want to be able to get onto, especially without his Quicksilver. They want to get onto Casio, but outside of the pillar and flashes, they don't really have a way. Though this Super Scyther on the Lux has been hitting some amazing bindings, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we see a binding hit and that just end the game.
Yeah. We did see Carmony. He did take the Winter's Bite here. That's the Lux ult down. Doesn't really hit anything. They are going to engage on this fight. They don't have Bestrin, though. This might be an ill-advised fight to take. However, Carmony is pumping out quite a bit of damage. Here comes the Unstoppable Onslaught. I think that was definitely a smart call from Maverick to kind of pull up on that Unstoppable Onslaught, because I don't think they wanted to take that fight without Bestrin.
Yeah. And they didn't have Trundle ult there, and so they didn't have any way to get through the Scion. If Trundle ult had been up, that would have been a dead Scion, and you can't imagine that Baron would have been captured there. But it looks like they want to keep going on the side of Schism because they TP in. They're going to pressure Baron, I think, here.
Yeah, and I mean, gosh, Scion's so tanky. Though he is getting chain CC'd up here. This might be bad for the side of him. He's still surviving. Super Scyther blows up Backpack. That is not looking good. Double kill for Super Scyther. Carmony does pick up the kill on Slippering Dingus, turns the attention to Zayfray. Maverick picks up the kill on Zayfray. Carmony is still alive. Arrow is still alive. Super Scyther is still alive. So all the damage is up, really, for both sides of the game. Let's see if they want to continue. Piercing Arrow is going on to Carmony, does pick up the kill onto Carmony, and he wants more here. Arrow goes on to Bestrin. There's another ult from Super Scyther. Bestrin is going to go down. That's a double kill for the side of Tristana, but Pengu steps up a little bit too much, gets taken out by Stevenator. What in the world is going on, as we do see Baron and Elder Drake are about to go live right now. There's some big objectives on the map.
Yeah, and if I'm on the side right now of NFG, I think the caller, they should run to Elder. I think that Tristana can take that incredibly quickly. They don't need to pressure Baron. There's no TP on Maverick. They're not really worried about the pressure too much. They should be able to get that objective away. They have their team back up, and they get that, more importantly, off of the map from the side of Schism, and Schism can't pressure that. On the opposite side, it looks like we have Schism right now rushing towards Baron. I think they have a read that they're doing the Elder Drake.
Yeah, but they're not really taking it quite fast enough. They do start this Baron. I don't know if they're going to have enough damage to do it with just Stevenator. Bestron's not there. Zayfrey is going to be there pretty shortly. This might not be the best call for Schism here.
This is what we call a 1v5, and they're peeling off. They can't do it. They gave up. I think they should have committed at that point. Now it's too late. Now you have Elder, and you have to be really careful if you're on the side of Schism, because at this point, Arrow is hitting he's got his 4 items, he's backing, and you imagine that he'll be picking up another core component in his build.
Yeah, he does finish the Mortal Reminder, so that's going to even cause more pen there. He is backing, though, and they did spot it out, so they turn their attention to this Baron immediately. They're going to be able to take this pretty quickly. However, we do see Super Scyther here. Bestron has missed quite a few smites here. He does pick up this one there, and that's Baron Nashor over to the side of Schism. Here comes Maverick engaging onto this fight. Bestron knocks him away with the explosive cast. Slivering Dingus does have the flank here, though. Is he going to be able to re-engage? Misses the apprehend. That's not good there. Good job from Schism skiting back. We do see Carmony picks up a kill onto Slivering Dingus. Now it's a 4v5 with Baron in the favor of Schism here. They're going to turn their intentions onto this mid lane and try to push here. However, their bot lane tier 1 turret does go down. Oh no, here Arrow going incredibly low. Is able to get out of that alive, though. And yeah, Schism's just going to march towards the base of NFG. This might be game.
Yeah, and I think Schism really lucky there not to have that fight go a lot worse. I think Slithering Dingus could have flash apprehended and forced an engage, but it looks like right now Schism's going for the end.
Oh, and Super Scyther's taking a lot of damage from the calling. Carmony is pumping out a ton of damage. He does pick up the kill onto Babu Pangu, and we are going to see them go. And Arrow going aggressive onto Carmony. Is he going to have enough damage? No, he is not. Second Nexus turret goes down. Stevenator's on a rampage. They're going to turn their attention to this Nexus here. Maybe. I think they should. Yes, they are going to turn their attention. They do pick up the Nexus. And that is Game 3 and the series going to Schism Esports.
An incredibly close game. Came down to the wire there. It really came down to that last team fight around Baron. Maybe an unlucky back timing from Arrow. He's caught on vision there. A really well played team fight to end the game. But at the same time, if you're Schism, you have some questions now going into playoffs. They had looked unstoppable up until this point, but they really had some suspect play. Maybe that has something to do with some of the subs they had to use, but they definitely have some questions. And NFG has to feel somewhat good, saying, hey, look, we took it to one of the top place teams. We're going to be going into playoffs, and we can take this and build on this.
Yeah, I mean, they had a shaky series, but they did play the first 2 games without a mid laner. And with Stevenator coming back through, there's a little bit of questions from that. I mean, I don't necessarily agree with the Ghost over the Cleanse in the matchup versus the Lux, but in the end, it kind of worked out here. So, based on that game, who are we going to talk to? Who do you think the MVP of the game was?
I think, gosh, I think that's a hard one. I think the MVP of that game, I didn't watch the rest of the series, so I think we do have to take into consideration the series as a whole. Carmony did get a pretty good advantage, but Arrow did a good job bringing that back. But I do think the pressure that Stevenator put on mid was pretty exceptional. I don't know. It's hard. I honestly don't feel like I don't want to give it to anyone. I'll be honest.
Yeah, that sounds bad, but I don't know. Let's take a look here.
I mean,
maybe Backpack.
Yeah, maybe Backpack. I could say Backpack.
Supports don't get enough love in this league.
He was consistent. He kept Carmony alive. Through some gank pressure. They had a good level 2. I think there's some other good play there. So yeah, I think Backpack.
I think we're going to disregard game 2 because you guys didn't get to see that here. But we are joining. I didn't see game 2, so just don't even worry about it, okay? We are joined by Backpack, the support / Galio mid laner for Schism here. Take me into the mindset. What were you guys thinking along that series from game 1 to game 2 to game 3?
We were we were just laughing the whole time. We were just having ourselves a good little time. I mean, after the first game, we were feeling really comfortable, which is why we switched up with the Galio because Lou's champ pool is built for like season 5. Like I asked this champ pool and he was like, "Yeah, I play like Veigar, Anivia, and Brand." I'm just like, "Yeah, that ain't gonna cut it, Chief." So I used to play a lot of Galio, so I went in Galio for the second game. But the third game was tough, man. Oh man, like one of the engages, Mav's mic broke in the middle of him engaging.
Nice.
So like we had no idea what he was doing, and we were just like, Mav, what the hell are you doing? And he just wasn't saying anything. So we just thought he was just running into the enemy team. We're like, oh shit. Well, okay.
Nice.
But,
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting series to watch. I mean, I caught the tail end of game 1. I know you guys did really well in that game 1. Game 2, I almost benched you all because you're trolling me.
I don't
But
blame.
Wait, but he switched to play Galio. I feel like that should be like that's required for all Schism players, right? You play Galio, right?
Well, the thing was we first picked Kog'Maw because we were like, okay, let's run a protect the Kog'Maw comp, and we picked Braum with it instead of like Lulu or something else. And
Or
Laxton
Tom
is a really
Kench.
yeah. Well, I was thinking that too, honestly, but then I was like, nah, because like I think what was the bot lane, the third game? Yeah, it was Lucian and Tom Kench just doesn't really match up that well together, and every time I see a Braum, I like picking Soraka. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. Oh yeah, I love that matchup, man. And you could tell. I mean, my ADC Flame Horizon. So.
Yeah, that must have felt good, but it must have not felt. It must have felt really poor to see the Tristana come back in the game and really have an impact.
Yeah, we fumbled a few fights. Honestly, like we just messed up some of the macros, especially in the mid lane. Like we had a conflicted call. Bestrin wanted to keep going mid, but Mav just kept wanting to go bot. So when we tried to get a fight going, Mav was still on his way from bot lane, and Gragas died, and yeah. So it was a little bit of miscommunication that series, but I mean, honestly, we still pulled out the W. So hey, you know, it's good.
Yeah. Were you guys starting to feel the pressure when Zayfrey got that Baron Smite?
We all we all sighed like really loudly. Like we were just like, okay, let's get back into the game, because like even though like honestly I really believe if we got that Baron we would have been able to end that game a lot quicker. But because they got that Baron, they were able to stall like at that top turret. Honestly, if we had Baron right there, like when we picked out the Darius, that would have been game. That would have been game right there. But because they had the Baron minions, it was pushing back into our minions, and we just again we just had a conflicted call, and yeah, we couldn't close it out as clean as we wanted it to, but we still closed it out.
So in your mind, does this settle the debate of the better bot lane?
Sure, why not? Me and Carmony have yet to lose a lane in this league, so yeah.
So that's it.
I'll leave it at that.
Are you saying so? You're officially saying you're the best bot in GXCP?
Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. We have it. You guys heard it
it
here, ladies and gentlemen. First, the best bot lane is Schism going into playoffs. They're taking all comers. So if you believe you have it, step up.
Oh yeah, like game 1, we smashed their bot lane again. Like we played Tom Kench and what did Carmony play? He played Tristana. We played Tom Tristana into Twitch and Alistar, and we rolled over that lane because like I took Glacial Augment, so every single time the Alistar tried to go in, I just tongue lashed him and just autoed him to death before he can really do anything. So yeah, I mean, I think me and Carmony is establishing ourselves as one of the best, if not the best, right now. So yeah.
Yeah, so obviously the best play is to move you mid and not have that bot lane, right? All right.
Well-
enough of beating the dead horse. We're gonna call it a night here soon. Backpack, do you have any shout outs you want to give before we end the stream?
Shout out to my boy Carmody and Bestrin, dude. Bestrin played such a very Bestrin played an amazing series outside of a few smites. Like he played the matchups perfectly, and he did fantastic, honestly, tonight. So,
And honestly, you
shout
can't
out to
blame
him.
him. That was a Lux, ulti combined with a smite from.
Oh,
It's so hard to beat.
man. Yeah, it really is. I couldn't blame him, honestly. Like I probably would have done the same thing. I probably would have missed that smite. You can't blame him for that. Like we just honestly, it was probably more my fault because I didn't have the vision set up prior. So I mean, you take some, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Shout out to Bestrin. That's my boy.
No, thank
All
you
right,
very
Backpack.
much, Backpack.
Thank you.
Great series. Congrats on the win. You guys have Purple Cobras next. That's a big matchup, so we'll all be excited to see that one.
Oh, we're excited too. We're excited. We're excited.
All right, Backpack. Have a good night, man.
All right. Thanks. You guys too.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for the second game tonight, Game 3 of Schism Esports and No F's Given. Thanks for sticking around. I was Evolve on the cast. I was joined by Hottie Williams, and we had Nick behind the desk. Anything you want to say before we sign off, Hottie?
Nope, I think that's it for me. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I hope you'll be back tomorrow for, I believe, I can't remember who it is now. I should have the schedule here somewhere. 1 second.
If it's not Purple Cobras in Schism, I will be
Schism,
surprised.
yeah, Purple Cobras and Schism. I hope we're all looking forward to it. 8:30. They're promised to bring a mid laner this time, correct, Evolve?
Yeah, we should definitely have a mid.
So, I'm looking forward to that. That's it for me.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.